What's up guys, Blue Circle here, and today we are going to talk about Circle Circuit Pikachu from Genetic Apex. Now this Pokemon was very strong when the game came out, and it wasn't as fast, but now the game is like accelerated to a speed where it just isn't as effective. But we have some new tools that make the Circle Circuit Pikachu EX way stronger. Now this Pokemon for 2 energy will deal 30 damage for each benched electric type Pokemon that you have. That's 90 damage if you have the bench set up, or 60 with only 2, and oftentimes 60 gets you to where you want to go. Now, when the game came out, we were playing like Blitzel and Electabuzz. Like, there weren't really good electric type Pokemon to pair this with. You'd play it with like Zapdos, and really you were just anything in the deck to get Pikachu EX going. But now we have some really powerful basic electric type Pokemon, most notably Zeraora, who has an ability that gives him a free energy at the start of the game, whether you're going first or second. If he's on the bench, he will create an energy. And Oricorio, which we all know, this yellow bird that makes it where it's really annoying to deal with from an EX side of things, because it doesn't deal any damage. It doesn't take damage from the opponent's EXs. So what we're doing in this deck is we're using Zeraora to make Pikachu even faster. Now when you lead Pikachu EX and Zeraora, you can immediately don that up on the second turn, and then on turn 3 you're attacking for what is potentially 90 damage, and that's a very powerful combo that does go very fast. It knocks Shiinotic out if the opponent has gotten it set up. It knocks any of the Ultra Beasts out that isn't Celesteela. It can knock that out with Giovanni if you decided to pair that up with the deck. Just whatever you're trying to tech against, this deck has some options. Now we've got double Oricorio, Safeguard, very powerful. Once the Pikachu gets knocked out, we can sit back on Oricorio's Safeguard and just say, hey, you know, you might have got the Pikachu EX, but what are you going to do to me? Nothing? Sorry Charizard EX. We have Zapdos EX. This is kind of our late game insurance. While this game goes fast, it goes quick, and we want to be stealing wins very quickly with that 90 damage Pikachu EX. Now going second, Pikachu still does the same thing. On turn 4, he attacks for 90. That's really good. We don't have to have the Zeraora Dawn combo, but the Dawn still is relevant because as we're pivoting around, we can re-assuage our energy wherever we want in order to make the Pokemon that's up front actually a threat and not just sitting there with no damage. Zapdos is our late game insurance. For 3 energy, you use Thundering Hurricane, which has the potential to deal 200 damage if you're feeling a little lucky. You flip 4 heads, and then for each heads, you deal 50 more damage, but that's a potential of 200 damage, knocking anything out. Obviously, that's a 1 in 16 chance, but it just makes sure that, like, hey, we do have an option against Giratina. We do have an option against Darkrai if it's taken us too long to get going. We have the red to deal that extra 20 damage, double Dawn because Dawn is very essential to this deck, but it is not required going second. It is really nice though. Double X speed, these electric energies only have 1 retreat. Electric Pokemon only have 1 retreat cost, so making that free, keeping the energy on them, makes it where you can pivot around and do what you need to do. The Electrical Cord is a really powerful item. You can use it on Pikachu EX once it gets going, and then your Oricorios are set up. You don't have to waste a turn. There's oftentimes in the Safeguard matchup where Oricorio is like 1 turn behind a Darkrai or just 1 turn behind something because you couldn't get the energy on it. And this lets us repurpose the energy. And that's what this closed circuit is all about. We are keeping that energy loop going, and we are going to make it where the opponent isn't going to be able to keep up. We have Cape. This is just really good in a lot of situations with both Oricorio and Pikachu EX. So Galio will one-shot Pikachu EX without Cape. And with Cape, we actually have a chance to like attack and then use our second one to knock them out. And that's a really good combo. And then we have the Electrical Cord. Just whichever Pokemon's up front, we can use it to redistribute that energy. And then we can even Dawn combo. So you have an option to like redistribute energy onto Zapdos. Then you put the manual attach on Zapdos. Then you Dawn up. And suddenly you have a 1-turn setup. Zapdos, you know, with the opponent plays into it. And it's pretty powerful. So without further ado, let's get right into the games. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoy, leave a like. Don't forget to comment which Pokemon do you think pairs the best with Pikachu EX, and hit the subscribe button. It's really helpful for a smaller channel like mine. We're trying to hit 251 subscribers, and we are closing in. Thank you so much for your support. Check out some more of my content if you had a good time. I've been Blue, and I'll smell you. All right, guys, so we are going first in this first game, and we're going to be able to showcase the power of the Zeraora Dawn combo. Now, normally this is not where Pikachu EX wants to be. He normally is like, hey, I really want to go second. I want to be attacking quickly. But luckily for us, we can actually attack quicker than our opponent can move now with this new combo. We have Pokeball in hand, which means we're going to be able to get the extra damage in case they cape us or something, and we even draw the other Oricorio. One of the things you have to be mindful of when you play this deck is your bench space. You can sometimes put yourself in an awkward position where you put too many Pokemon and you can't put the second Oricorio down, and it is necessary. They're going to Pokeball, but looks like, oops, all Pokemon, which doesn't bother us nearly as much in our deck because we need the Pokemon on the bench in in order to deal our damage. They're going to attack us with Heat Tackle, and we have pretty much won the game, and we are going to steal a very early advantage. We are going to Dawn up that Zero Aura energy. We're going to manual attach and Circle Circuit them for 90 damage. Litten's knocked out. They didn't even have the opportunity to heal themselves, and there they go. They just go ahead and concede. Even if they would have went into Stokesard, we'd have dealt 110, and then we could have attacked with the Zero Aura the following turn. And yeah, really powerful stuff from this Circle Circuit Dawn Zero Aura deck. The next game we are going to be going second, and we are right at home with that. Getting to see the Pikachu EX early means, hey, we are just going to start Circle Circuiting you for a good amount of damage. We have the Oricorio as well, and we're going to keep Zapdos in hand. Like I said, one of the things that can happen is your bench gets a little too full, and you need to make sure you have the right Pokemon down on the bench. Now, sometimes you just have to make the decision to deal more damage. Like here, I would like to see the other Oricorio, knowing that I'm playing against a Guzzlord deck. So we are going to go ahead and throw the energy on Pikachu EX. Throw our other Pikachu EX down is what I was thinking, but I decided Zapdos is probably the way to go. That way we can get the energy built up on him. We'd like to save the space for Oricorio, but I don't know that we will be able to because we need to be able to deal 90 damage into this Guzzlord. They Poison Barb, throw their energy down, and we're going to have to start worrying about Grindcore. We draw the second Zapdos. I end up cutting this. That's why it's not in the other spot. I went through a few variations of this as I was figuring it out. So we'll throw the other Zapdos down, though, just so we can do the extra 90 damage, and then we can get that Thundering Hurricane built up on the Zapdos. That way, if they get a second Guzzlord out, we have some very powerful comeback options as far as that goes. They are going to throw the other energy. They're going to Grindcore us. I'd really like to not see double heads. Okay, phew. Double heads would have just been annoying. Any deck would have lost to double heads right there. It would have been really frustrating. But now we can power up Oricorio, and we're going to throw ahead and throw our Spark. This is going to turn both of our Zapdos into a little bit of a frustrating thing for the opponent. We would have Dawn combo the following turn. We'll attack for 90. They're down to 20. We have 70 HP. We're still poisoned, down to 60. The opponent shouldn't be able to take us out unless they have Nihilego, but they'd also need red, and that would be like asking a lot from them. And even if that happens, we're not in the worst position. Speaking of, there is the red. They are going to bring the red down. They're going to attack. We're going to get knocked out by poison. We are going to get Grindcore for our 1 energy, but it doesn't matter. We were already taken out anyway. I wonder if it affects the electrical circuit energy, but it doesn't matter because we were knocked out by the poison anyway. Just funny to wonder how that interaction works exactly. I think it would apply first, and then we would get our thing later. We do have the Dawn in hand, and so had the Circle Circuitry, the extension cord worked properly, we would have been able to attack with Thundering Hurricanes, but we don't need it. We've got the Peck coming in for 20 damage, and now they just have Nihilego, and we're in a pretty good position. We can show off some other potential this deck has. They've got Nihilego out. They're going to throw the other Guzzlord down, and we'll be able to Thundering Hurricane if they do try to switch out, and then they're going to Lucamine up the energy on Guzzlord. It looks like they are going to switch out. They actually decide to New Wave us, not thinking about the fact that we have this crazy little sequence that's going to guarantee the knockout. Throw the energy on the Pikachu EX, X-Speed out the Zapdos, bring it in, and then we're going to throw that Dawn energy up onto the active slot, and boom, bam, we're attacking for 90 damage again, out of nowhere. They weren't expecting it, and that's going to take the game from them. All right, we're going first again, and notice a trend, first with Pikachu EX on the Circle Circuit, that's normally not very good. We throw the Oricorio down, and we're going to see what the opponent's playing, and there's the Darkrai EX and the Nihilego. What an obnoxious combination. They just took Rocky Helmet, and we're like, yeah, let's double it and send it back. We have the other Oricorio though, which is good. Oftentimes you have to pivot between these Pokemon in order to beat the Darkrai EX. It's crazy that a Pokemon that says, hey, you're immune from the attacks of enemy EXs cannot do anything here. They really need to give us a dang shield dust or heavy duty boots or something, because we need a way to stop these damage counter pings from Darkrai. They are going to Poison Barb the Darkrai, speaking of, and now it's really hard to even just get attacks in because the Poison Barb makes it where we will take 20 damage because of the Nihilego, and we can't Cyrus it out, and Sabrina doesn't do anything here either. We're going to X-Speed out of the Oricorio into the Zero Aura and attack for 50. We're trying to utilize the fact that these Pokemon can pivot around pretty easily in order to get some aggression going and not get knocked out. We don't want our Oricorio's HP to get too low, because then we'll end up getting like Cyrus Darkrai in later, and then we're not going to be able to do anything. So they're going to throw the second energy on the Darkrai EX here. We're down to 50. We'll be down to 30 with the Nihilego poison, and they're bellowing like they're not even attacking us, and they're getting so much built up. But we are going to be able to retreat out with the Zero Aura into the Pikachu EX. We manual attach to the Pikachu EX, and then we Dawn up the Zero Aura's energy. This Zero Aura isn't needed anymore. It functioned at a battery. The battery is dead. We're going to attack for that 90, take out the Darkrai EX, and now we need to deal with the last contending opponent's Pokemon. We can get like Oricorio set up. If they don't have the Barb again, they're going to throw Cape down on Giratina, which is really good. Barb would have made it really a lot more obnoxious to deal with it with Oricorio. They get to full energy. They can attack next turn and take out our Pikachu. We're going to throw Circuit on Pikachu, but we're not going to leave him out. This is just going to give us some insurance in case we get Cyrused in. We'll throw Oricorio in, and now this is what I was talking about with the bench spaces. We can't get Zapdos set up, but because we have double Oricorio, we should be in a decent position in order to win the game out. It just depends on how the opponent plays. They need to get Nihilego set up. They Mars us down to 1 because of course, and then we do see Pokemon Center Lady. The inclusion of Pokemon Center Lady is to beat this Barb combo and to keep Oricorio alive just a little bit longer than Potion would, and because that poison damage is racking up and a lot more relevant in the meta right now. But the thing is, if they go into Nihilego, they don't have enough quick enough to take us out. They're going to repel, spray us, but we can go into the Oricorio or just the Pikachu EX. This was already our win condition. They shouldn't have thrown the Nihilego out. They're going to Guzma, get rid of our tool. We're going to go down to 30 HP, but we can just knock the Nihilego out always because it only has 70 HP. And just like that, we beat Darkrai, Giratina, Nihilego. Going first, by the way, that's kind of crazy. This game, though, we are going to be going second, but we get Zapdos EX. This is like one of the Garnets. This is like one of the tech choices that we have, and so it's a little more frustrating that we drew it going first because now we can't do anything crazy. Actually, like kind of slower going second all of a sudden because we don't have the Zeraora combo. We do get Pikachu EX, though. This is nice. We can throw the energy on Zapdos if we want. I'm trying to figure out the best strategy here. I do decide to just go for the Pikachu EX. We could have dealt the 20, but when I was thinking about the math, I don't think the 20 comes up until it's like Charizard. And speaking of, they are going to Rare Candy, get the Charizard out. Now, though, if we can use like Circuit, if we can draw some Pokemon, we'll be able to deal 60, then 90, then maybe Red. They're going to Stoke, you know. We got to figure out exactly how we want to navigate this. We could get the Zapdos built up and get the Thundering Hurricane luck. We are going to draw Pokeball, though, and because we are also playing Oricorio in this deck, we always have this as an option, right? We always can fall back on the yellow little bird, and while our big bird gets set up and ready to knock the opponents out. Oricorio coming in, it's just going to stand there and be like, halt, safeguard. I'm actually good against you, unlike Darkrai, right? The communicator is going down. They're trying to get something else set up. We're going to see what they end up doing. They are going to play the one, the only. Do they have a bird of their own, which would be kind of odd? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize they were going so freaking slow. This is like hyper sped up. And now, okay, Moltres EX, they've got their own big bird. We've got a cool little legendary bird trio showdown going down, but ours, frankly, is in a much better position. I don't know why you would play Moltres in this position anyway. Maybe it's like to help with like the grindcore, you know, grindcore going on or something. I'm not really sure, but they are going to throw the Moltres down, try to power up the Charizard manually. At this point, they're rocket grunting us, and they get Tails. Good. Anyone using rocket grunts, it needs to be Tails. That is so freaking annoying. They're going to attack with the Infernal Dance. They took their time. See how the time limit popped up? They're not going to get any energy for their trouble, though. And here we go, the second Oricorio. It's important to have the second one on the bench space because a lot of times you'll get like something knocked out, then the opponent will Sabrina. If you only have one Oricorio, you just lose that way. There's a lot of situations where double Oricorio is really important, and they see the second bird and they give up. They concede. We're going to be going first once again, and this one is again a little more awkward. We see the Zapdos, we see the Oricorio, we see the Rockruff on the opponent's side, and this is a pretty hard position to be in. Luckily, our deck is like relatively consistent, right? We see Pokeball, Zeraora would go really hard here, and there's the Pikachu EX, and now we're in like a weirder spot because we're not getting any of the energy generation. We didn't see the other Zeraora. Zeraora is one of those weird ones where you really only want to see one of it, but you need to see it or want to see it, and so it's important to run two in the deck, and then we just missed the lottery on it. They're going to Signs of Evolution, get that Lycanroc guarantee. We have Red in hand. This isn't going to do anything in this matchup. Assuming this is the fossil version, we really just have to hope that because they're playing fossils, a less consistent strategy, our strategy is going to be able to take them out. I'm debating here on exactly how I want to go about navigating this. We can throw the energy here on Zapdos, and then I just tried to decide to do this because I had the math a little wrong in my head, but Red would do it if they had they have second Lycanroc, obviously. They can attack us for 100, but Zapdos isn't weak to fighting. Zapdos is actually weak to electric, and that's what was throwing me off. I was just like, man, I'm going to take the 100. I guess I'll throw the extension cord here so we can attack with Pikachu next turn and see if we can like get research into a double basic or something, right? But there we are going to live with 100 HP. We are going to see the Zeraora a little late, but we still need electric type Pokemon on the bench for the Pikachu. And now we are going to utilize a fun little combo to get it out. We're going to Zero Aura on the bench. We're going to X-Speed out the Zapdos, and then we're going to take this energy on our Zapdos and move it up. Now, the Peck damage, really important. And now we can Dawn it up. Had they have knocked us out, however, we would have been able to move that energy to the Pikachu anyway. We attack for 90 damage. We take 20. It's 100. Rampardos kills us anyway. Cranidos doesn't do it. Let's just hope that they don't have the combo in hand. This is why you play low to the ground consistency and not high roll nonsense. Please don't let them have it. We're going to see Cyrus pulling in our Zapdos, but that's not going to do it. And the fact that they didn't slam down the rare candy or Cranidos tells me that they do not have it. They're going to throw a barb down on the fossil, and now they're just going to let us kill them. We retreat into the Pikachu EX. We throw the red down, but they're going to concede anyway. All right, we are going second in this one, and we have Oricorio and we have Pikachu EX. We like going second with Pikachu EX. We don't mind going first if we see Zero Oro. So it is a nice position for the deck to be in. Double research also means we're probably going to see what we need. They have a Lowland Diglett, and yeah, that means we're probably playing against the Doug Trio, which could one-shot us really easily if they get a little lucky with some heads. They just need to be favored over us because they flip 3 heads for a potential of 180 damage, 60 each, and then they're going to Pokeball. We see Carablast, so this must be like an Escavalier deck, and that's pretty cool. I like the Pokemon a lot. I wish we got an Excelgor, maybe next set. We can throw the energy down on Pikachu, but not before researching. We see double Zero Aura, which is going to give us double energy generation, and this is always a weird spot. Like, you want the Zero Aura down for the energy generation, and you also want it for the Pikachu EX's damage, but sometimes you're like, man, you know, now that my bench space is taken up, because now we can't get a Zapdos powered up, right? So that's what we need to think about in this situation. And if we're not safeguarding against something, it becomes, we're not going to get Zapdos powered up if we don't have it on the bench to be able to benefit from that circuit or not. We are going to let the opponent make their move. I think now that they know we have the Oricorio, they have to act a certain way. They're going to leaf out the Diglett in order to survive another turn. Carablast comes out, though. I mean, Escavalier could do something, but nah, they're just going to get that Diglett back there safe, ready to go. I mean, they only need 1 energy on it in order to do anything. We draw Research. We draw 2 cards. We've got double X speed. Now we can kind of pivot around and do whatever we want. We can attack with Circle Circuit, 90 damage, Carablast taken out. We don't have to worry about type matchups or anything like that. We can just boom, here's a bunch of damage really early. And now the opponent is going to evolve into that He-Man Beautiful Locks Doug Trio. Ooh, with the full art Adamant, that card looks really freaking good. They're going to flip heads, tails, and they are going to knock out our Pikachu in one shot. Cape would have kept us alive, but we didn't draw it. Now we're going to throw out our Oricorio, though, and as long as they can't Sabrina us out, if they do, we could get a little lucky. We Pokeball into that other Oricorio now, though, and now they're really in a position. We're going to Dawn up that free energy we got from the Zero Aura earlier. It seemed like it wasn't going to be as good, but we can still use it now, and boom, Oricorio is attacking. We can put pressure on the opponent, and what are they going to do? They're going to Sabrina us, like I said, and there's the Oricorio. We have the X speed. We're set up, ready to go. They're communicating, trying to get to whatever else they have in their deck that can deal with Oricorio, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. We're waiting, see what they do. They're going to just pass. We're going to attack with Oricorio after X-speeding this one out, or we can just wait. It doesn't seem like the opponent has much they can do, right? But we will X-speed out the Oricorio into this other Oricorio that's fully powered up. We're going to zap them, and we are going to let them understand that they are going to lose. The Pokemon Center lady, they are stalling. They're looking for something. They're going to be able to attack, but it wouldn't do anything. There's the cape I was talking about earlier. We can survive an extra hit with our Pikachu EX with it, but we can't get it set up because of Zero Auras. But it doesn't matter. We're going to zap the opponent. They're still waiting to see what they can end up getting. They throw the Rocky Helmet down, but Rocky Helmet is a little too late, and they're going to concede. Just like that, the bird blocks, the Pikachu attacks. Alright guys, and there were the games. The deck is a lot of fun. Being able to see the Zero Aura for the battery charge and pivoting around all your Pokemon is definitely a lower to the ground, more consistent strategy, but those strategies tend to do pretty well over a longer period of time. It's why Pikachu EX was so powerful on release, was just because you didn't have to worry about any crazy setup. You got to just knock the opponent out as you went. But anyway, you should try the deck out. It's a lot of fun. It's really fun to use some old EXs that have been kind of phased out of the meta and say, hey, there's some new cards and new strategies. Zero Aura looks sick. It's not like my favorite Pokemon in the world. When I played Unite, it came out and kind of like ruined the game, it felt like. But him in this deck is really nice, and it actually provides a function later. A lot of the times you see a card like this and you are able to like play it, but if you see it later, it upsets you. But with Pikachu EX, it actually fulfills a function in the deck, even if you don't lead with it. Now, it's really nice to lead with it and get that Dawn combo, but drawing it later doesn't feel terrible. But anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. Thanks again. We are getting closer to our goal of 251 subscribers, that Johto Pokédex number. So if you want to help us out, especially a smaller channel like mine, it really goes a long way if you hit that like button, comment, you know, something about the video, which Pikachu EX is your favorite. I still like the Thunderbolt 10 million gigawatts, you know, 150 damage one, but this is a really fun, takes me back to my time at the beginning of Pocket, which, oh my gosh, has been like over 6 months ago, which is kind of wild. But anyway, I've been Blue. Thanks again for watching, and I'll smell you later.